Hey athletes, it's Josh and Cole, and this is the Coaches Collab podcast. All right, crack that shit. Tell me how it tastes.
All right.
Ginger lemon. Thank you, Shelby.
Ginger lemon kombucha.
There's grapefruits in there. There's one with chia seeds I didn't even know existed.
See, the thing is, Josh.
Mm-hmm.
So people who don't know, I just came from the gas station. It's kind of been a tradition now to drink kombucha on the podcast.
Oh, yeah.
So I grabbed kombucha, right?
Yep. Shit.
And I saw this ginger lemon, and I didn't grab it because I didn't want to have ginger lemon.
Too fucking bad.
And I grabbed California grape.
Which is delicious, by the way.
And then I get to Josh's place here, and he peer pressures me into, because he has a ton, thanks to Shelby, peer pressures me into having some ginger lemon, which I didn't want to do.
Oh, come on. Ginger reduces inflammation. It's great for your guts. There's a reason 3 billion people in the world eat ginger. Terrible.
It's
Get
not
it,
that
get it in
bad.
your throat.
It's
Do it
not
again.
that bad.
Gargle with it a little bit.
I'm not going to gargle it.
Gargle. Gargle that shit. Get it in your throat. You tell me.
It's not terrible, dude.
Oh, it's harsh. I think it's harsh.
Well, you're just a pussy, I guess.
I think it's the lemon. I don't even think it's the ginger.
It's like the aftertaste that's a little meh,
Yeah.
but I think like the kind of the carbonation and everything kind of makes it taste a little bit better.
The Great Monster you've got, that's
This,
gonna taste
dude.
really good. Oh, I love those.
You mean the ultraviolet?
Those are awesome.
These are the best.
The sugar-free.
Yep. I either go this or the blue one.
Have you ever had the Grape Bang?
Is that the is it just called grape?
No, I think it.
Purple haze.
Purple
or whatever?
Haze. There
yeah,
you go.
that one's pretty good.
That one's pretty good. If you're looking for a heart attack,
Yes.
300 milligrams of caffeine.
Yeah, but I do that in my sleep, dude. My daily intake of caffeine is
There
like
you
around
go.
700.
Fuck yeah. Oh, speaking of, so last week I told you about these.
Right now, Josh is running across his apartment.
Oh, I just got shit everywhere. Caffeine tablets.
Yeah.
So after my workouts, I'll be taking these 100 milligram caffeine tablets just to
So-
see if.
Do you take a pre-workout?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
All right.
We sell Condense.
Yep.
Basically because even though it doesn't say it's third-party tested or anything like that,
Uh-huh.
there's 4 ingredients in there.
Right.
I take.
What does it have? Beta, caffeine,
Yep.
beta alanine.
Yeah,
for
beta
those.
alanine. There's 150. There's 200 milligrams of caffeine per serving. There's betaine anhydrous,
Okay.
beta alanine, and L-citrulline.
All right.
That's it.
That's all you need.
That's all you need.
Yep.
And then whatever flavoring that's disgusting is in there.
Yeah.
I always liked that. So I used to do. We had not Razor. Shit. What was it called? Not Craze. Can't remember. Anyway, we sell it at the gym. Reactor.
Reactor. Yeah.
Oh, Reactor. I mean, it has 300 milligrams of caffeine, but that's not what's stimulating you. There's some.
See, that's why I never took it, because I get drug tested
Oh,
at my
exactly,
meets.
exactly.
And because I was up at the front desk,
Mm-hmm.
and I would always see people taking it, and it would smell so good. I'm like, man, I just want a sip of that.
Oh,
I'm like,
blue raspberry's so good.
Really?
Yeah.
What do they have, like dragon fruit too?
Oh,
Is that
all flavors you can imagine, and they're good. But when you read the supplement label, and on the back it says like chewing on a power line energy,
Yes.
it's a little scary.
It literally says that on the nutrition facts.
Yep.
When I read that, I'm like, yeah, that's probably not.
No,
legal.
and then you look at the list. There's more stimulants in it than anything else. It's crazy. But yeah, so do you take Fast Twitch or what are you taking?
So when I do take pre-workout, I take I kind of bounce around, but I've taken this. Do you know who Omar Isuf is? He's like a YouTube guy.
Fuck him. I'm just kidding.
No, so he made this kind of company that has basically they just sell this one product,
Oh,
which is a pre-workout, and it's only got 3 ingredients.
Okay.
It's got the caffeine, beta, alanine, and then carnitine.
Oh, okay. L-carnitine.
Yep. And so for me, I was like, well, that's all I need,
Right.
and it was cheap because he kind of priced it because he's like, I'm not trying to make money off this. I just know there's a need for this product in the supplement industry, so that's why he made it. But I like that because it's got a heavy dose of beta alanine.
Oh, yeah.
Like I said before, my daily intake of caffeine is so ridiculous that I don't feel it ever.
Oh, yeah.
Like I'm basically just like need it to get that baseline functionality for myself throughout the day,
Nice.
but I don't like feel anything from caffeine. So that's why I like the high dose of beta alanine because I can feel it.
That face twitchy.
Yes.
I
Just
gotta
that
work out
itchy.
otherwise.
Yep.
I'm gonna be itching.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's because when you take pre-workout, I mean, you kind of take it to, like I
Change your mood, to change your
Yep.
perception.
I
Yeah.
like the feel of it. I like feeling it in
Yeah.
my body, feeling it kick in. So that's what I take. The company's called Gnosis, Gnosis,
Okay.
and I can't remember. I think that's just what it's called. I
Okay.
don't know what. Oh, it's called Gnosis, and the pre-workout's called Singularity.
Singularity.
Yep.
Oh, look at that. And the reason I take Condense is if what they say is in it is in it, I'm not going to get popped for anything when I
Right.
do compete because
Mhm.
I'll be drug tested too. It's so sketchy. You go to a GNC and you take anything that's supposed to get you ripped, get you big, get you massive. That's illegal.
Yes.
You're going to get popped for
Yes.
it right now.
Yes.
That's nuts. So I actually want to talk about how do you balance your job that sometimes it's a 10-hour shift
Mhm.
and still getting better at powerlifting. Like, so I'll tell you a story before you do. So
Yep, go ahead.
Joel and AJ, two guys from the gym. I just remember AJ one day, he saw Joel at the gym and he was like, let's do this. I don't know if it was squat or bench or whatever.
Mhm.
And he said, I got to tell you, I moved a buddy this weekend. And the look of disgust on Joel's face, you did what? You did anything this weekend? Where I assume, and I've never confirmed this with Joel, but it's the less you can do outside of the gym, the better, because you're going to have more energy, you can do more.
Right.
Moving your body is going to tax your nervous system in such a different way. And I mean, that's probably why you did it.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you balance that out?
So, just a little background for people who don't know. I actually recently, full-time, I used to do it part-time. I full-time started doing construction. I am a carpenter and I install acoustical ceilings, which are like the suspended tile ceilings. And I've been doing that for a couple months now.
So it's a lot of overhead movements, up and down the ladders. He's holding shit over his head.
Yep. But the nice thing is, in comparison to a lot of other different trades, this one really the work isn't like very brutal.
Yeah, you're not installing carpet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not hunched over. I'm able to stand.
You're not putting
up.
shingles up. Yeah.
Yep. I'm
right.
able to stand upright all
Yeah.
day, which is a huge thing. Because, like you said, putting in carpet hunched over and on your knee, like that's really bad for you.
Or sheetrock. Or,
Yeah. And the tile is light.
I was gonna say it's got to be pretty light.
It's super light. I mean, so it's not. The first couple weeks when I got back into it, because I used to do it, I did it like for the summers when I was home from school. Like the first couple weeks, it takes a little bit. Your shoulders are pretty fatigued just because your arms are always over your head. But now, since I've in the swing of it, I mean, it's going pretty good. And like I said, it's not very physically taxing, but the one thing that is tough is just the sleep.
Oh yeah.
The overall sleep, because
it's early mornings.
Right. So like for example, today I worked in Plymouth.
Yeah.
And so most of the time our jobs we'd like to start at 6.
Mm-hmm.
So that means I have to leave my house at 4:45.
Yeah.
So I mean I'm up at 4.
Right.
And if you count that backwards, that's trying to get to bed at 8, 9 o'clock
if you can.
Right. If I want 8 hours.
Right.
So. And then, like, for example, last night I didn't fall asleep until 10:30. Right. So
very light on sleep. For
right,
sure.
6 hours. And for me personally, there are some people who can function well on not a ton of sleep. Like they get 6 hours and they're good. But for me, I am someone who really needs 8 hours.
Yeah. I just actually went through that too. It was Tuesday night into yesterday, right? I went to bed at my normal time. For whatever reason, I couldn't fall asleep.
Mm-hmm.
And I bet I got 6 hours of sleep. I bet I did. didn't feel like it. I
Yeah.
woke up hungover. I felt. I
Yeah.
felt so strung out and out of it, and so I guess this can be a two-part question. So with work, I got to believe maybe it's not physically draining, but it's got to be mentally draining
Yep.
because it's just mundane. Thankfully, you get to listen to podcasts and things like that,
Right.
and music and whatever else, I assume. But that and sleep. How do you? So if you are sleep deprived, do you not work out that day, or if you had a tough day at work, or does having your RPE system help you out, or
Yeah, and a lot of that actually kind of remains to be seen because I haven't worked full-time construction while I've been in a full-fledged meat prep.
right?
So right now, like we talked about in the last podcast, I've been on kind of this injury protocol.
Yeah,
So I'm only lifting 3-4 days a week, and it's relatively low volume. So like I said, I don't really know yet. But the best thing I can do to kind of prepare myself is just ease into the volume
For
for
sure.
training.
yeah,
Because obviously, because there are days when I squat in the gym, and then the next day I'm getting up on my scaffold up and down, and my legs are killing me.
Yeah.
You know, so they both affect each other, but like I said, if I slowly add that in, I think it'll help.
yeah,
And like I said, it kind of remains to be seen if
Right.
and that's the thing too, is when I'm in the middle of meat prep, my workouts can be 3 hours long.
yeah. It's a long day.
So that's not much time for anything else but
Sleep.
work and working out.
Yeah.
And then you got to sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because most of the time, I mean, well, lately I've been working here in St. Cloud, so it's been nice. But let's say I'm, working in St. Paul, which we do a lot.
Or Plymouth.
Or Plymouth, yep. Plymouth was kind of nice because it's on this side of the city, so
But
it
still,
took me an hour to
Yeah,
get
it's
here.
still an hour.
Yep. So, I mean, get off at 2, get home at 3, and then I got to change and get ready for the gym.
Right.
Gym at 4.
Or a podcast.
Yep, or podcast. Gym at 4, 2.5 hour workout,
Right.
6:30, and then I got to go home, eat, get my lunch ready. 7:30, it's like, well, now I got to go to bed.
Yeah.
And do it all over.
Yeah,
again.
so has that affected your meal prep for lunch? So do you just like throw shit together because you?
So I used to, but now, I took Monday and Tuesday off this
Okay.
week because I was gone for
Right,
nationals.
right.
But
Which we'll talk about.
yep. But so like yesterday, I just sat down, cleared off my table, took a loaf of bread, and I just made a shit ton of sandwiches.
Okay. Yep.
So that way it just saves time.
Yeah.
So that when I get home, or I just have them all in the fridge. So in the morning, I grab a couple Cliff Bars, grab a couple fruit cups, grab my sandwiches, and I'm good to go.
Fast and easy.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then that also allows me to sleep in a little bit more because I don't have that much to do in
Right.
the morning. So.
Yeah, just get ready and go. That's cool. And then, I mean, having all that stuff ready, you can just grab it and eat it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So when you do get into competition training again, are you going to try to change what you meal prep, or does food not really bother you?
So I am.
Because I mean, I used to eat a lot of those protein cookies that we
Yep.
sell at the gym,
Yep.
which are very similar to Cliff Bars sugar-wise.
Mm-hmm.
And I found myself eating, 2-3 of them a day to just get through my workout,
Yep.
my mundane day. But when I swapped those out, I got a performance gain.
Mm.
Does that really affect you? Does it?
So I'm the type of person who I don't really feel differences that
okay.
much.
Yeah.
So
I'm a sensitive guy.
Yeah, see, you're one of the guys who are super in tune with all this stuff.
Yeah.
Where for me, I don't really notice that.
It's probably
much of a
better that
difference. Possibly.
Right. Unless you're, strung out because you didn't get enough sleep.
Right.
If you don't, I mean, I always envy people like you where, whatever,
Yeah.
let's just do it.
I mean, unless I do something crazy like eat 3 McDoubles right before I go to the
Yeah.
gym. But otherwise, most of the time I feel the same. I usually
Right.
eat like 2-3 hours before I go to the gym. I'll have
Right.
a big meal. But it doesn't really matter what I eat.
Yeah, whatever you ate the night before doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Oh shit, if I eat, let's say my favorite cheat meal is pizza.
Okay.
If I eat pizza, the next morning I wake up, my eyes are puffy, I'm
Really?
dragging.
Yeah, you are a sensitive.
Right?
dude.
Even though I'm carb loaded,
Yeah.
every once in a while I get a performance gain from that carb loading, but it has more harm than good.
Yeah.
And I think it's more so a placebo effect
It could be.
because I've done so much research on gut health and nutrition and performance health.
So while you're shoving that pizza
The
down
whole
your throat,
time.
you're thinking about the consequences
The
you're
whole
gonna
time.
pay in
Yep.
the next morning,
Yep.
and then lo and behold,
Right.
you wake up
Yep.
and you're feeling those same
yeah,
things.
I go right into my own expectations. I think that is part of it.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, oh, this is gonna hurt my colon, and maybe
Yeah.
which if we were that sensitive, we'd have died off a long time ago.
Oh yeah.
But now when I eat junk food, I have a tendency to now I have a freaking fridge full of kombucha.
Yeah.
But I'll have kombuchas a couple times throughout the week to try
Help
to just
mitigate,
that. Yeah. But no, food doesn't bother you much, huh?
Not really. No.
Well, that's
and
cool.
then
So going back to your sandwich thing, do you care what bread you eat?
so right now I usually get wheat, but that's mostly just because it lasts longer. It
Yeah.
doesn't get moldy as
Right.
quick. So,
Right.
but and I switch because I get bored of food very easily, and then if I'm bored of it, then it's not appetizing to me,
Right.
and I don't want to eat it. Like if I eat just chicken and rice for
Right.
months, I will just despise chicken. Like
Right.
this last time, I didn't want to touch chicken for like, it was literally like 4 months that I
Ugh.
didn't have any chicken.
Right.
Just because I got to the point where I was like, nope, I don't want it. I had so much of it. And then when that comes up, I'll just switch to like lean ground beef or
Yeah.
whatever. But what I was doing the last couple of weeks is Sunday I'd, go to the grocery store, get a thing of chicken breasts, and then I'd cook up a bunch of rice and basically just have it in a big Tupperware.
Right.
And then in the morning, I just scoop it into a smaller Tupperware thing and bring that for lunch. So it's
Right.
kind of whatever I'm feeling. Like I said, it doesn't really make
Yeah.
that much of a difference for me.
Do you track calories, macros, your weight?
Mostly my
Certainly
weight.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's kind of why recently I've lost a lot of weight, just because of me working a lot more, and then also not being in the gym. Like it's kind of gym and diet has kind of taken a little bit of a backseat because starting up all of the stuff with Salutum, and I've been working a lot of 10-hour days, so the gym and diet kind of took a backseat, and I've lost about 15 pounds.
Yeah.
And so now I'm looking at calorie density because my stomach is still a little small for me not eating
Right.
as much. So that's why I got a bunch of Cliff Bars and stuff like
Right.
that.
Yeah. So you
Kind
don't
of-
have to chew as much.
Yep,
Yeah, less
yep.
volume.
Yep, looking for that calorie density so I can start to pack on a little bit more weight, just
Right.
because I'm going to start,
Ramping
doing more
up.
training.
Yeah.
Yep.
I had BS with you a little bit last week. Your bench day went okay.
Yep.
Or at least good enough until
Yep.
I started bothering you. Which is funny. We just talked about bothering people at
Yeah,
the gym, and here I
yeah.
come. Take your fucking headphones out. I want to talk to you. I don't care if you
Losing
got
my pump, dude.
right. I don't care if you have 300 pounds on the bar, bitch. I'm here now. Talk to me. But no, so it's going better. You're
Right.
getting back into your benching. So soon are you thinking? Do you have time between now and the Arnold to qualify?
No.
No.
The Arnold, you need a 450 Wilks from Nationals
Oh, okay.
to qualify.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which I assume Amanda got. What
Yeah.
was her Wilk? 6?
591.
Yeah. See, I
think.
thought she'd hit 6. That-
Yeah, it was close.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
very cool. But so going back. So you're gonna work into your volume, but let's say flashback to your last prep. I was gonna say
Mhm.
contest prep. If you only got 6 hours of sleep, would you modify your workout? Would you go?
I would. So I'd go in having that in the back of my mind.
Hmm.
I would just go through my progressions, and if I realize that, like, you know what I mean, I'd have the fact that didn't sleep in the back of my mind, know that I might need to adjust my
Right.
weights,
But I'm gonna do what I can.
but I'm gonna do what I can.
Yeah.
Yep. And then if I do, and it was a lot easier for me before, because being a coach and a trainer, like, you kind of run home back and forth from home quite
Yeah,
a bit.
a lot. Yeah.
So I would have been possibly able to afford a nap before
Oh,
going.
yeah,
You know.
Yeah, because you do train later in the day for
Yep.
sure.
Yep. So that it's just, you got to be aware that the stuff you do outside of the gym affects the gym.
Yeah, for sure.
That's why, like, a lot of people, they're like, well, I haven't trained in like 3 days. I figured I'd have a good workout. I felt,
Right.
but it's like, yeah.
But you went to a funeral and
Yes. And you didn't train for
your
3
mom's
days.
been in the hospital for 3 days.
Exactly. A lot of that stuff, it all affects each other.
Stress is stress, whether it's physical,
Exactly.
mental. I mean, you could just be stressing about a bill. Maybe you got in a fight with your girl.
Yeah.
It could be anything.
Could be anything.
So yesterday, So Tuesday I didn't sleep very well, and when I did sleep, it was definitely restless.
Mhm.
I almost felt like I was just grinding my face in my pillow all night.
Yeah.
Anyway, I get to the gym, and the whole time I'm telling myself, today you have certain numbers you're supposed to hit. And I told myself, if anything is going drastically wrong going up to those numbers, you're just not going to do it.
Yep.
You know, settle for 5-10% less and do a few extra reps, whatever.
Yep.
But as I was warming up, so I also had in the back of my mind, as I was warming up, I kept reminding myself, you're going to be a little tired, okay? But if you travel to Chicago for a competition, you're Amanda lifting at 8 o'clock at night and she's used to lifting in the morning, you know,
Yep.
whatever.
Yep.
Shit's going to happen. You got to suck it up. And as I was going, I kept reminding myself, you'll use less energy if you do it right.
There you go.
So my
efficiency
form was
rules everything.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I spent so much time, so I rested a little bit extra in between sets, and I was just focusing like it has to be like this,
Mhm.
again and again and again. I put probably more mental emphasis into it than I've done in a long time, and built up to the weight I was supposed to. I knew I had enough energy in the tank for one crack at it. Very close, didn't get it, but again, close enough. It was very close. I have a video of it. There was one little tweak I would have made. Who
Yeah.
knows if it was because I made a mistake in the moment, I was tired, whatever.
Right.
But I was curious because, again, you're an RPE guy.
Mhm.
You know, if you were going to be a pussy-ass bitch and be like, I'm tired, so this RPE 8,
So
25 pounds, that's an RPE 12. I'm done for the day, you know?
I guess one thing too that listening back, I didn't explain it that well, but RPE, you still like I still go into the gym with a number in
Yeah,
mind.
oh, for sure.
So like you know what you should be at.
Right.
So
A
like,
range.
right,
Yeah.
exactly. It's just not set in stone.
Right.
And sometimes, I mean, we talk a lot about, you know, not feeling as good, but there's sometimes you go in the gym and you feel like freaking Superman.
All the stars align.
Yes, and you're like, RPE 8, I thought this was going to be 550. This is 570 on
Or
RPE.
more.
Yeah, you know.
Or if you're supposed to do an RPE 9, it's a PR.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and that's the thing too. Is like for example, yesterday, I think, my boy Nolan, who we're just switching him. We just started with him. He's in his intro phase, and we were doing one conventional, one sumo day.
Okay.
And we were primarily doing conventional because that was what he did.
Oh, okay.
Normally, he recently, before we started working together, tried to started implementing sumo, and his hip would kind of bug him sometimes with sumo.
Yeah,
So that's
the
why
wide stance.
I want to keep the emphasis on conventional.
Yeah.
So I would have him work up to a heavy single on his conventional day, but not his sumo day. Anyways, he was feeling a lot of lower back fatigue just from all the squat volume and then doing conventional stuff. So he hit me up before his workout. He's like, "Hey, my back's still a little bit sore. Would it be cool? You know, could we just go sumo?" I'm like,
Yeah.
Yeah, just go sumo. So he had I just said, keep your program the same as it would be conventional. And he
Heavy
ended
single.
up, yep, heavy single. Work up to a heavy single. I think it was at an RPE of 6.
Mhm.
Something easy.
Mhm.
He worked up to a heavy single at a 6, and it happened to be 97% of his max.
Jesus.
You
Because it
know.
felt great.
Right,
Yeah,
because
it
it just
felt
felt super
Right.
good. So that's where it's
And
like,
he was probably in his head thinking, well, because my back is fatigued, I got to get something out of it.
Yep.
You know, I
Yep.
gotta get a decent number.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
Or my program is just phenomenal and he's already getting that strong.
There you go. That's what it is.
Yeah.
SHP, man.
There you
Phenomenal
go.
programming.
Shameless
97% is an RPE 6.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Shout out to Nolan crushing it.
Yeah, right? What's funny is coworker Luke, right?
Mhm.
So I know he'll be listening to this, so shout out to you, Luke. Talked to you after our first episode.
Yeah, we had a good chat.
And we
man.
were talking RPE, and he and I were talking shit about you. And I was like, yeah, that pussy ass bitch goes in and makes it sound like when he says it's an 8 that it can be anything from 50 pounds to 300. And we were talking about ranges where I said,
Yep.
you know, he probably goes in and he's like, okay, so it's got to be, let's say it's bench. I'm shooting for 400 pounds today.
Yep.
I'm okay with 380, 375, but I'd really be good with 420. You know,
Yep.
something
Yep.
like that.
And so what I usually do too is I kind of have a set that I have someone record or watch
Yeah.
and let me know how it goes. So like, for example, for bench, that would usually be right around 365. And then like that would let me know how I'm feeling so I can pick my set.
Do you track
from that.
bar speed?
I never have.
But just
I-
by eye? You
Yeah,
track it?
pretty
Yeah,
much, pretty much. And then same thing with squat. Like every time, like we're working up, throw 5 plates on. That's kind of my gauge set. If
Yeah.
that moves fast, I know it's going to be a good
Right,
day.
yeah.
If that moves kind of slow and it feels heavy, I know I'll be able. You know. I'll
And
have
it's
to work.
really important that you guys videotape it.
Yeah.
Because what it looks like isn't how it feels.
Right.
You might feel like, oh, that felt great, but it sucked, or vice versa. There are times where I might grind something out, or at least I think I'm grinding it out, and it moved really well.
Yep.
So you gotta videotape it.
Dude, everything feels heavy and slow to me, so that's why I have
Always.
to videotape, or else I will undershoot everything. So
That's hilarious. Everything feels heavy and slow.
yes,
That's
315 feels like 500 pounds.
Right. What the fuck is this?
Yeah,
You pick it up
seriously.
off the rack, son of a bitch.
Yep.
Which is always funny. 315 pounds will always feel like 315.
Oh yeah.
Because, you know, maybe for you 10 years ago, 315 was a big
Yep.
milestone. It's
Yep.
like, holy shit. Still in your head just a little bit.
Yeah.
You pick it up and you're like, oh, that's right. I can squat 600 pounds.
Right. Well, and that's the thing too is
Each plate.
Joel and I, every time we train, we've just going up to at least 500 pounds, and it's like 500 pounds is always 500 pounds. It's always heavy. Like,
You always
and
gotta
there's
psych up for it. a
Utah.
little.
I mean, and like I mean, I was squatting over 600 pounds. That doesn't mean that 500 pounds is light.
It's not a
I've
gimme.
just gotten able to. I can deal with that weight. now.
Yeah.
You
And
know
more
what I mean?
consistently.
Right.
Week in, week out type.
Right.
thing.
It's just I've developed ways to deal with that weight,
Yeah.
and that includes strength gain and muscle
Right.
gain. But it's still
Right.
500 pounds
When
on
you-
your spine.
Exactly.
you know?
When you squat 7, you'll think the same about 6.
Oh, yeah.
And you'll still probably think a little bit about 5
Mhm.
because you can't go into, let's say, a 500-pound squat and say to yourself, oh yeah, it's just 500.
Right.
Where you just, because it can still snap some shit.
Yeah.
Okay, you can still get very hurt on it. Which is funny. I'm glad you think the same way because sometimes when I'm snatching or cleans or something, I'm
Yeah.
like, I've clean and jerked 300 pounds many, many times,
Mhm.
but I still think, 300
Yeah.
pounds. Here we
Well,
go.
and see, that's where I need that to kind of get in the right mindset.
Oh yeah.
You know.
This is serious.
Yeah.
Yeah. Change your song and change
Yep.
the music
Yep.
and fuck yeah. So I know I asked you. So let's talk nationals.
Yep.
Did her lifting? So Amanda Lawrence. So you know what? Why don't you talk about how she did? So
Okay.
3
Yeah.
benches, or 3 squats, or 3 deads.
So Nationals was out in Washington State, out in Spokane.
Did you bring me back? So keep going.
And so, like we mentioned last week, the powerlifting and squat, bench, deadlift, you get 3 attempts of each lift. So Amanda ended up going. She missed a squat, missed a bench, but got all 3 deadlifts. So for squat, we ended up hitting 525. Bench, we ended up hitting 237, I think. And then for deads, we ended up hitting 540. I say we, but it was really her. I didn't really do anything. And that ended up, so she ended up second by 10.5 kilos. But we added 84 pounds to her total. And her last meet was 4 months ago. We added 84 pounds to her total.
Right. So 20 pounds a month.
Yeah,
Right.
which is nutty.
That is
That's like when because obviously at a national meet you're around a lot of high level lifters and coaches, and it was funny after she was done. I was down in the warm up room, and there's one of the national coaches for the USAPL. I think he's like a sub junior, so like a teen national coach, and I kind of felt cool because I didn't know who he was, but he knew who I was. I was like,
Oh wow, that is cool.
yeah. No,
You're
but
cool, motherfucker.
Yeah, but anyways, so he was like, oh, how'd Amanda end up doing? And I was like, well, we ended up second. We, came up short by about 10 kilos, but she, like, I told him the same thing. I'm like, she put 84 pounds on her total.
Right.
And he's like, what?
82
44
kilos.
pounds?
right? 41.
It was 30.
Oh, you're right. I keep thinking 2.2. Yeah. But still.
He was like, "What?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Yeah." And her last meet was in June. He's like, "Are you kidding me?"
Right. She's a phenom.
Right. So, and for people who don't know, especially when you're at that high level, you're literally happy if you get a 2.5 kilo PR on each of your lifts.
Yeah. If you
Like-
get a 10 kilo PR,
Like on your
Total.
Yep.
That's huge.
That's a good meet.
That's
That's,
a
a
great
good
meet.
Yeah.
that means you didn't bomb.
Right,
You know what
right.
I'm saying? You didn't bomb out on 3 squats and you're done.
Exactly. So she put 37, I think it was, kilos on her.
So run me
And
through her-
also, so before we go on, she also, her squat was an American record,
Yep.
which is an unofficial world record.
Right.
Which means no one her weight has ever squatted that way
Deadlift
before.
too, right?
And the deadlift was also.
Okay, so this is something for you guys to understand. She got 2 records and she still didn't win.
Right.
So I'm not saying by any means, this is a negative thing, anything, but it doesn't matter if you're great at 2 lifts. You can be so-so at 2 and great at 1 and still
Yep.
take gold.
Yep.
I assume had Amanda gotten the other 2 lifts, she'd have taken gold.
Yep.
But again, so her opponent, even though she didn't get these American records, she was right on her tail the whole time.
Yeah.
Within enough of a range that she could end up winning, and it was the bench that got her to win. Right.
Right.
What was her bench?
Who's Amanda's or the other girls?
Daniela.
Daniela benched 300.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was because of her bench she jumped.
Yeah,
She jumped
because
ahead of Amanda.
she made up the gap that we had in the squat.
Mhm.
So,
Right.
but yeah, that was. It was fun. And I've kind of explained this to Josh before, but the attempt selection in powerlifting is it's so complicated, especially when it comes to deadlifts, when you're kind of jockeying for position.
Right.
So, it's just at a high level meet like that, it's crazy, but it's just really good experience for me as a coach, just
Right.
being in that environment and having to call numbers and dissect lifts in
Yeah.
seconds, because after you get done with the lift, so let's say you do your first squat,
You have a minute,
you
right?
have 1 minute from when the squat is done to put in your next attempt.
Right. So no time at all.
No, I have to watch it, dissect it, be like, okay, this is what we have.
As you're walking to the officials table,
Right.
writing on a piece of paper.
Yep. So there's a lot that goes on,
And if you don't, it's only a 1 kilo.
it's a 2.5.
2.5.
Automatically
Okay.
2.5.
Yeah. Okay. Because weightlifting, it's a 1.
Right.
Right. An automatic.
So let's say
1
you
kilo.
crush it,
Yeah.
and you don't get your attempt in. Maybe you
Right.
want to take a 10 kilo jump. You can only they only give you a 2.5. Yeah.
Which can jack you up.
Oh, yeah.
So let's go back. So with her squat, what were her 3 attempts?
We went. So it ended up being 498 was her opener, which was she opened with an American record.
Which is awesome.
Yeah, which is unheard of.
Right.
And then we went 525, and it flew. She got 1 red light on the side.
Okay.
Judge said
Depth?
for depth.
Okay.
Which ended up kind of getting in her head a little bit.
So she went too low.
Yep. So for the 3rd attempt, we put on 547.
Which is about where you were talking.
Yep. And she just dunked it down in the
Dive
hole.
bombed. Yeah.
Got a little loose, and then just didn't have the power to come up.
Right. Because, and that's unfortunate sometimes about coaching is, even though it's supposed to be objective, it happens so quick. It's hard sometimes to see, did their hip get low enough or, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And then the lifter, it gets in their head.
Yep.
Do you try to go lower? Do you try to just do what you've always done? And yeah, that's rough. So now, did that affect her at all? Was she... So she got buried, right? She got down there, she got buried. They had to pick
she
her
came up a little bit, but then she just dropped back down.
Right. Didn't get her rebound.
Right. It was, a little bit, just because squats kind of, she owns squat.
Fuck
Like,
yeah.
that's her lift,
Right.
right? So,
She still
of course,
has an American record.
right.
You know?
But of course, when something doesn't go necessarily to plan, you're automatically like question, like, what did I do
Right.
wrong? What happened? Da da
Right.
da da.
Yeah, you got to get it out of your head.
But in the grand scheme of things, yeah, you got the rest of the meet left to do.
Right.
So you got to kind of just don't worry about that.
Right.
We'll assess
We
it
can
later.
still get
it
this
doesn't
shit,
right.
yeah.
It doesn't matter because it's already done. So what we got to do?
Yeah,
now
we're
is
not
we gotta-
adjusting your program today.
Exactly.
We'll adjust it next week.
Yep.
Don't worry about it.
So now we got to focus on bench. So
Mhm.
squat's done. Got to put that out of your head. Don't let that affect you going forward. So bench came around. And by the way, this meet was very, very fast moving.
God, it was 2 stages.
Yep.
Right, 2 stages were going.
There's only
and
2 flights.
One after the next, after the next.
Yep. So there's only 2 flights per stage. So what a flight is basically, so Amanda's flight had 10 lifters in it. The one after her had 12. I think. Yeah. So that means 10 minutes. There's about a minute per lift.
Yeah.
So Amanda's got 10 minutes in between each lift, each attempt. And then after all of her attempts, then the second flight goes through their 3 squat attempts. So while they're going through their 3 squat attempts, we have to go back, rest, but
Right.
there's no time to rest.
30-minute warm up.
Right,
Yep.
because they have 12 lifters, and then we can start going right after they go through the 3
For
flights.
bench,
So
yeah.
that we have 40 minutes.
Right,
Usually
yeah.
in a meet, you literally probably have an hour.
Yeah.
So
Or
you
more.
have a half hour to kind of lay around, do nothing, just kind of let yourself
Yeah. Think about the next
Yep.
lift.
like get some food in.
Yeah. Get some candy or some
Yep.
shit. Yeah.
And then you can start warming up. But this meet was moving so quick. She had maybe 10 minutes to sit there before we
Right.
had to start getting her ready for bench.
Yeah.
And getting ready for bench, she was saying she wasn't really feeling that great. She was kind of, I don't know if she didn't have too much caffeine, I don't think, but she was kind of feeling shaky.
Yeah.
So
Maybe a hunger thing.
maybe,
Yeah,
I don't know, it
who
could have
knows?
been a combination of things. She had a ton of, I don't know.
Could have been anything.
Yeah, so having that in mind, in my mind as her coach,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, all right, well, be ready to call more conservative numbers for bench just because she's not feeling great.
Right.
You can't really expect her to go out and have the best day of her life if she's not feeling great.
Right. Exactly.
So we went out. She opened with 225, absolutely demolished it. Then we went 237, and it was kind of slow, but it looked more like a technique issue.
Okay.
So she didn't, halfway through the lift, she kind of pressing straight up and like
And
kind
not
of
towards
down
the
and
rack,
not
yeah.
back over
Yeah.
her face towards the rack. So, but it looked a little slow, so I just took a 2.5 kilo jump. I'm like, let's just get this last one, clean up the technique.
Mm-hmm.
But for the third, she was just gassed.
Just wasn't there.
Yep, it just wasn't there. And then again, go back, and then you got to think deadlift too takes a little bit longer to warm up just because
Yeah.
the weights are a little bit heavier. Rest time you'd like to be a little bit longer, but again, and this time she's really tired.
Yeah. Oh, for
Like,
sure. She just maxed out on
She's
2
like,
lifts.
Cole, can we just wait longer? I don't care if I got to warm up faster. I just want to sit here. I haven't even caught my breath yet.
Right.
So I'm like, yeah, we can kind of delay this a little bit. I want you to feel ready to go before we start going. So she sat there for probably 15 minutes. And then I'm like, all right, well, we got to go now.
Right.
Like, we still need time to warm up. So started warming up for deads. And I think it was like after her second warm up. She's like, I don't know what it is, but I'm feeling really good right now.
Good.
All right. I'm like, that's what we call a second win.
Right. Yeah. For sure. Perfect
So,
time.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially
So-
on deadlift.
Yep. So again, like if you're a coach, especially in a meet, you really have to listen and take into account all the feedback that your lifter's giving you because how they feel will affect their lifting, which
Right.
will affect the numbers that
Oh,
you
for
put
sure.
on the bar.
If they're not confident going into it, there's no way.
Right.
No way.
Right. So hearing her say that, I'm like, all right, well, let's
Go
see
back to
how-
plan.
Yeah. So we opened with 485, crushed it. Then we went 518. She crushed it. It was a little bit slow at the lockout. That's how she normally does, just
Yeah.
because she's got some thoracic bend
Mm-hmm.
in her back. So it means she's very quick off the ground, but then at the top of the lockout, you got to get your shoulders back.
Right. Yeah.
So since she has
Takes
that
time.
bend in her back, it takes her a little bit longer to lock that out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of where she fails or where her grip fails a lot of the time. So
It's
that's
just so long.
right. So when I saw that, I'm like, and keep in mind we'd already missed 2 lifts.
Right.
So I'm like going into the third deadlift. I'm like, well, we need to go 3 for 3 on
Right.
deadlifts. I want to build your total. Right now, the first place spot is a little bit out of reach. So I went a little bit conservative. Initially, I went 4. So what was it? It was 243.5 kilos.
So 5 something. Yeah.
It was like 5 35-ish or something
Okay.
like that. And so when I put the numbers in, I tell her to go sit down. So then she's looking up at the board and she sees what I put in for attempt. She walks right up to me. She's like, Cole, I don't want that number. And at first I was like, what do you mean? Like, is
Right.
that too heavy or too light? She's like, I want 245, which is
Yeah.
540 pounds.
Right. I want a nice even.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I explained everything to her. I'm like, we've missed 2 lifts. I
Mhm.
want to go 3 for 3. I want to build your total. You know, we want to walk away with the most that we can at this point.
Right.
She's like, I don't care.
I got this.
I want 245. I'm going to do this. She said, I don't care if you change it. She says, if you don't change it, I'll change it.
Mhm.
I'm like,
All right.
okay, you know.
Let's go do this. Yeah.
If
Put your money where your mouth is.
Exactly. If
Right.
this doesn't go according
Right.
to plan, it's not my fault.
Right.
So I'm like, all right, you're the lifter.
Mhm.
So, and the thing is about deadlift too is you can change the attempt twice.
Oh, okay.
The last
Cool.
deadlift.
Cool.
So,
Because it is jockeying for position.
yep,
you know?
yep. And like I said, there's 3 girls that were right around the same deadlift. So it was Daniela, Amanda, and this other girl, Donna, I think her name is, who has a phenomenal deadlift. She wasn't really in the race for the total,
Right.
but she has a great deadlift. She actually opened higher than the Amanda and Daniela did. So,
Oh wow.
so every single attempt was an American record between those 3 girls.
That's crazy.
So literally every single deadlift from those 3 girls was American record. So I went back, I changed Amanda's attempt to 245, which is 540 pounds. And that was the number that Daniela had put in.
Right.
So when Daniela and her coach, Sean, saw that we changed it, they went back and shipped it. So they went 245.5.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry, people who are listening to this and are kind of getting lost in the weeds here, but so
They jumped at 1 pound.
they jumped at 1 pound because
Yeah.
it's an American record,
Exactly.
so you can put a 0.5
Half of- yep.
or a kilo chip on
Yep.
it. They decided to go
So that
0.5.
fucked her, apparently.
Well, at that time I'm like, this is already her max. I don't care
Right.
what they put in. I'm not changing.
Right.
this.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
again, she's already too far ahead
Mhm.
for us to really be
Right.
able to pull for the win and make it feasible.
She or her coach must have said, "You're getting this American record."
Right,
We're
and
not
that's
gonna
basically-
we're not gonna let Amanda have.
That's
another
basically
one.
what it came down to.
Yeah.
Is who wanted that American
Because
record.
Daniela is the one who won, right?
Yep.
So she was up by. I mean, the coach could have done the math quick. I'm up by 10 kilos.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah.
We got this. It doesn't-
Right.
They wanted the record.
Yep,
It
yep.
had nothing to do with
Exactly.
beating Amanda. It was the
Exactly.
record.
So Amanda had 245, Daniela had 245.5, and then this Donna girl, her and her coach put in like 247.5. So they
Oh,
don't
yeah.
even chip it. They're like,
Right.
we don't
We
need this
got
stupid
to.
chips.
Yeah. We're not
We
going
don't
to
need these
246.
stupid chips, man.
Right.
We got
Right.
so 247.5.
I eat chips for breakfast,
Yes.
bitch.
So that's like a normal jump. So that's
Right.
not even using a chip
Right.
whatsoever. So Amanda is the first of the 3 to pull.
Right.
And I'm freaking nervous.
Right.
You know, I'm like,
Because
gosh.
it's a kilo and a half higher than you wanted.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know, if she misses this lift, she goes 6 for 9. Like, that looks bad on me as a
Right.
coach. Like, da-da-da-da. But I trust her. You know, she went out there and she freaking pulled
She
that
got
thing.
that shit
and
done.
She got it done.
Mm-hmm.
She got it done. And I was so pumped. But then it was like, all right, well, here comes Daniela with
Right.
0.5 kilo on there.
Yeah.
We and Amanda and I were like happy just because the meet's over and
Right.
she ended up doing
Great
super
total.
good.
Yeah.
And then in the back, like where all the athletes sit before they go out, they have a screen of the live feed. So then we look up and we're watching Daniela start her attempt. And she's pulling, she gets it like a little bit past her knees and can't lock it out.
Nope, down.
We're like, yes, we still got it.
Right.
We still got the American record.
Mhm.
And then here comes Donna, the freaking beast of the deadlifts. And keep in mind, people, I was not expecting to walk away with American deadlift.
Right.
American record.
2
in the
records
deadlift.
for sure.
Yeah. So Donna comes out and she's super tall. She's like
Mhm.
6'2".
Oof.
So super tall.
180 pounds.
Yep.
That's
She pulls.
Yeah.
She pulls conventional.
Mm-mm.
So just a beast, right?
That's a
just a
big
savage.
torso.
Yeah. So she reaches down, grabs the weight, starts pulling, gets it like halfway up her shins, stalls out, and drops it. So then we start freaking out too because we
Screaming.
walk away with another American
Right.
record.
That's so cool.
So basically everything that we could have done except winning
Yeah.
we did.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
in the grand scheme of things, it was a fun meet.
Had
She
you got
did
9 for
phenomenal.
9, you'd have won.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
which is great. So hopefully that's fuel for Amanda.
Oh, and
Right.
so by the way, last year, Amanda was, I think, over 100 pounds behind Daniela's total.
Oh yeah.
Daniela's total from last
Right.
year. So,
So she surpassed that old total,
yes,
and she's only lagging by 20 pounds.
yes, yeah.
That's next meet.
Oh, yeah.
That's Arnold.
So they're looking in the review mirror a little bit.
Oh,
We are
fuck yeah.
right there.
Right. So, and you talked about it last week. That bench is her biggest problem.
Mhm.
What changes are you going to make in the off season?
So
Well,
what
not really off season, but this first phase.
what we've already done is, in the strength phase of this last block, we switched to 40 days a week on bench. So I think sticking with that and her just getting more volume, and I think she's just going to see progress with that.
Mhm.
So we're going to keep rolling with that, see how that goes. But I think she's really, like, just in this last couple months kind of caught her stride with her bench, and
Yeah.
stuff is clicking a little
technique.
bit more.
4 days a week, you're going to get good.
Oh yeah,
You know?
oh yeah. So I think we're just gonna run with that still, and I think she'll make a lot of
Now,
progress.
as Arnold comes around, are you going to taper it back to 3 days a week, or just
probably
stick with
not.
4?
We'll probably stick
4
with
the whole
4.
time?
Yeah,
Yep. That way she doesn't get any bench rust. you know?
exactly. Yeah, which 4 days a week benching kind of sounds like a high school football player's program.
For sure.
Bench every day, bro.
Right. So does 5-day-a-week squat programs.
Yeah.
But I swear to God, when I go into a program where I'm only squatting 4 days a week or 3 days a week, I get rusty.
Yeah.
Where it's not as good as it was
Mhm.
when I was in this other phase. So
Yeah.
it makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
And again, I can be a bitch and I don't have to put so much weight on the bar, which I assume you have with Amanda. You have one higher volume day, one higher
Yep.
intensity,
Yep.
and then some technique days.
Yep. Exactly. Exactly.
That's very cool.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Now, so again, and I keep going back to this. So, the fact that she had to compete at 8:00,
Yeah.
that had to have done something to her.
Yeah.
Because when did she fly out?
So she flew out on Friday.
Okay.
So she was there for 2 full days.
Right. She got a training session in there. I'm
Yep,
sure.
she got a training session in there on Friday. But I mean, she usually works out about 5:30.
True.
So
Very true.
It wasn't a huge.
Does she train on
drastic
Sundays
change.
typically?
No.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, she got the day off beforehand.
Right. But I mean, there's a 2-hour time change.
Yeah,
Which
true.
does play a little
Yeah,
bit of
it
a
is.
role.
2 hours later. So 8:00 there was what? 10:00.
So it started
8:00
6.
here, 6:00
Yep,
there.
it started
Okay.
at 6
Yeah.
there.
I remember seeing USAPL live on YouTube, and I'm like, "Fuck, it's at 8:00.
Yeah.
It's Sunday, bitch."
Yeah.
I'll catch up with Cole about it later. And I knew you guys would be posting the videos
Yeah.
and talking about it. I was very impressed too when you had 2 American records because we were just talking about the squat.
Yeah. Like
That's
I
sweet.
said, we weren't even really thinking about the deadlift.
Right, for sure.
Yeah.
I gotta believe, whether it's maybe not this time around, but next time around at the Arnold, if she sees another decent progress in her total again, there are going to be sponsors looking at her like crazy.
Yeah, there's already a lot.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are.
Yeah.
But again, especially if and when she beats Daniela and she gets gold,
Yep.
big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really cool. I mean, her Instagram following tripled from when you and I first started talking. Because I remember
Yeah,
we first
she's got
started
like
talking.
over 30K now. I
Yeah,
think.
we were talking, she's got 10,000 followers,
Yep.
she'd be kind of cool.
Yep.
It's, in the future when we do this podcast, we should interview her, things like that.
Yeah.
Now it's triple. So, I
Yep.
mean, obviously people are paying attention, which is cool. Her being a young female is great.
Mm-hmm.
So, are there going to be really any changes to your programming of her? Is there...
No, I think hopefully she makes some changes to her, the way she does my programming and sticks to the RP a little bit more.
Oh, okay.
Because I think that's what took away from her peak.
Okay.
Because she's constantly kind of pushing that line
Yeah.
of failure that doesn't really allow for any super compensation.
Right, yeah.
So that's
She's just
why,
always right there,
right. So
grinding.
that it takes away from the peak because
Mhm.
you're never, I mean, you can't peak if you're already peaked. You
yeah,
know?
you
So
can't
she
peak if you're a
peaked-
little tired, too.
Right, and I think it's obvious she peaked a little early because
Mhm.
she did hit 550 in the gym.
Yeah, she posted that video, it was what, about a month ago?
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. So she has squatted 550 in the gym. She's benched 255 in the gym.
Yep.
I think her deadlift, I mean, the last 2 meets, that's gone really well. She's hit more on the platform than she
Right.
has in the gym.
Which is awesome.
Right. But I think if she, hopefully listens to me a little bit more and realize that I actually kind of do know what I'm talking
Right,
about a little
right.
bit.
Well, and it's so true. I mean, it doesn't matter what you hit in the gym. It matters what you hit on the platform.
Exactly.
You could set all the world records you want in the gym, but if you can't do it,
Yep.
if you can't pull it, you can't do
Yep.
it.
Yeah.
No, it's very interesting because I do remember seeing her hit that 550
Yeah.
a month, 6 weeks ago, whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, she's gonna fucking blow it out of the water.
Right.
But you're right. If she's been pushing redline a little bit in the
Mhm.
especially this last week
Yeah.
or the last 2 weeks, it is hard to get that kind of rubber band effect, that
Right.
bounce.
Right.
of
It
performance.
totally screws up the peak because
Right.
you don't want to fail or get very, very close to failure because it takes so much for your body to recover from that, even though it
yeah.
may not feel like it sometimes. But your central nervous system does take damage from that. So I think the accumulation of her pushing to exceeding RPEs, that kind of accumulated and didn't allow her to
Right.
lift on the platform.
And it prevents it from being predictable.
Right.
Because that and that's with weightlifting too. If every Monday you're consistently doing it like this, you can assume on Monday you're gonna feel like this.
Yeah.
Well, if you have highs and lows and this and that, and some days you're feeling great, some days you ran yourself into the ground because of yesterday. It's so hard to predict, especially for one specific
Right.
day.
Right. Like for me, I literally probably all my PRs are on the platform.
Yeah.
Like my biggest squat in the gym is 585 and I've hit 605 on the platform.
Right. Yeah.
My biggest pull in the gym is 700 and I've pulled 705. My biggest bench in the gym is 420 and I've hit 435 on the platform.
And that's how a lot of people do it.
Yeah.
A lot of people use the competition, use that environment, use that hype, use all that excitement to help
Yep.
them push more. Some people, they like to hit the PR and then match that PR because they
Right.
know they've hit it as a
Right.
confidence thing.
Yeah.
But either way, it's predictable.
Yeah,
You know?
and see, I think for me, I am so much not a numbers guy.
Yeah.
Like I really don't care. Like the number on the bar doesn't. Like a lot of people get scared of like say their first time ever squatting 405
Yeah.
or benching 315 or whatever it may be. There's numbers that kind of like get in their head. For me, it doesn't matter. Like
Right.
the numbers don't bother
It's
me.
just 5 more pounds.
Right. So for me in the gym, if I hit a solid, 585 before my meet and it feels good, like that, I don't care. I don't care during the meet that I haven't touched those numbers before.
Right, yeah. It's
You know.
just, it's time to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
It just all depends on feel. So
Right.
if like I hit 585 on my second attempt and it flies, I'm not afraid to put more weight
Right.
on the bar for the third.
Right, yeah,
you
because you're going to put another, 5-10 kilos on.
Exactly.
And you're going to assume it's going to fly again,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
No, that's. See, and I'm the other way. Not that I get scared, but when it's 400 pounds,
Mm-hmm.
I look at it and I'm like, all right, squat. I'm like, okay, 400 high bar, it's time to do it. Soon it'll be when it's 440, when it's 460, whatever.
But for me, it's like it's only 10 pounds more than
Right.
what I did before.
Right.
It's not like now it's all of a sudden this new, fancy weight.
Right.
Where,
Yeah, now that
it's
there's
like,
4 plates on the bar, it makes a
it's
huge
literally
difference.
only 5 or
Right.
10 more
Exactly.
pounds than you had on before.
Yeah, that's true.
I just for whatever reason I can't relate
Yeah,
to that.
those numbers hype me. So first time I clean and jerk 315.
Yeah.
The week before went terribly.
Right.
Where I shouldn't. I mean, I should have because I peaked at the right time and everything worked out. But it shouldn't have really happened.
Mhm.
But because it was 315, I told myself it's fucking time. 3
Yeah.
plates. Let's get this bitch.
Yeah.
To me it's motivating. But I know exactly what you're saying. Where you put for some women 225.
Yeah.
225 anything.
Yeah.
Bench, squat, deadlift.
A lot of people
freaks me
have
out.
it. Yep. They almost have a mental block, whereas There's some times where you can load up 225 with change plates and they'll hit it.
Oh yeah.
And then you put on 245s, or I'm sorry, you hit 225 with change plates, but then you put on 245s and then they can't hit it just because
Exactly.
it looks scary.
Exactly, because you see those two full
Yep.
plates. Yeah,
Yep.
and I've seen it. So I've seen people where they'll do, let's say, 400. So we've got 345s, a 25, a 10, a 5, a 2.5. They hit it, no problem.
Yep.
But now when it comes time to taking all of that shit off, putting one more, they can't do it.
Nope.
They can't.
Because it looks scary.
Because it looks scary. Which I think is crazy because you look at it and it almost looks like you're in the circus when you have all those weights
Yeah,
on, right?
yeah.
You got a dick on the side of your bar
Yeah, I
and you're
think
just
it
about
looks
to deep throat
It's
it.
like, screw that. Just
Right.
throw a fucking
Just
plate
put
on
that
there.
plate on. It looks so much better. It's a nice s'more.
Yeah.
Right? I got 245s on one side and guess what? 2 more on the other side.
Yep.
So, one last thing I want to talk about. Actually, 2 things. One, if you haven't seen the Instagram post, our apparel is live.
Yeah.
We're working on getting it on SHP's website.
Yep.
But right now, you can follow the link to get it if you want SHP stuff. I put the link on the Instagram post
Perfect.
too. It'll be at the bottom of this as well. I'm sure Cole will be reposting that.
Yeah, check it
before you
out.
guys see
I
it.
mean, like we talked about in the first episode, there's tons of stuff on that website. So
Shirts, sweatshirts, coffee mugs, which is kind of cool,
Yeah.
drawstring bags, really anything you want.
Yeah.
But what I do want to say before we get into it, so it's that season where people are getting sick.
Yes.
What's some general rules of thumb when you're sick in training?
Well, one we already touched on, but I think sleep just
Sleep.
rules everything.
But let's say you have a cold, you're coughing,
And then
flu,
you got a training session
and you still got to
coming up.
train. Yeah.
So, you really have to see it. If it's bad enough where you're like, well, am I going to get more out of going to home
Yeah.
and getting rest and getting better? Or is it kind of mild enough where I could still go to the gym and at least get something done?
Right.
And for me, when it comes to sickness, I always err on the side of caution.
Yeah.
Because I'd much rather just get it knocked out
Oh,
right
right.
away so that I can start my normal training again rather than try and train through it, have crappy sessions, prolong the process.
Right.
Because think about your body's fighting this virus or cold or whatever you got going on, and then you're throwing a bunch of stimulus on top of that from
Right.
the training session.
Plus, you're probably going to add more caffeine to
Yep.
your
So
pre-workout.
it's gonna kind of prolong things if you were to push it if it's something bad. But if you got a
The
sniffling
sniffles,
nose, get your
yeah.
freaking ass.
Right.
in
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. Head cold. Yeah.
Yeah,
Deal
yeah.
with it. Usually, what I tell people is, so I deal with a lot of athletes that do a lot of volume too, so high intensity type stuff. Not CrossFit, by the way. You call it CrossFit, I'll choke you.
Wait, what did you do? Didn't you do CrossFit a little before?
3 classes.
Oh,
I did 3
sure.
whole classes. And then I said, fuck this, I can't make it anymore at 9 o'clock or whatever time. So I started working out on the side. So while CrossFit classes would be going on, I'd be on the side weightlifting or doing
Don't they
whatever.
frown upon that?
Fuck yeah, they do. The dirty looks I used to get when, let's say, they're
who's
doing...
this little ginger?
Right,
over
who's
here?
this son of a bitch doing clean and jerks on a Saturday while we're trying to do box jumps and
Yeah.
shit? Yeah, I did that all the time and they hated it. And it was disruptive to class, but you know what?
Right.
I'm a fucking personal trainer at this gym. I'm
Yeah.
going to do my shit. Yeah. Anyway, so with the high intensity stuff, if you come in coughing, so you have a chest cold or whatever, if while you're working out you're coughing, I'll send you home.
Yeah.
Because your body can't deal with the mucus and this high intensity
Yep.
all at the same time. But if in between sets you might have one hack, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
But I always tell my athletes this. If your working out is because you're telling yourself, I have to because I feel like I'm getting fat or weak or something like that, go home.
Yeah.
Because you're coming here from an addiction standpoint
Yes.
where you're going to overwork yourself into an oblivion.
Yeah, you're in the wrong mindset.
Exactly. But let's say I have a cold and it's a max out day.
Yeah.
I'm still going to give it my all, but maybe next week I'll take extra time off or whatever. But yeah, the last thing you want to do is turn a cold into something worse.
Right.
Because especially when you're peaking, the amount of stimulus you have where your legs are twitching when you're sleeping or your
Yep.
chest or shoulders or whatever. Now add a cold on top of that, you're really not going to sleep.
Yeah.
And it just keeps compounding on it. But you're not a numbers guy, and I am. So if I miss, let's say, a Monday workout, and I look at all this volume, and I'm like, I just missed all that volume, and I don't want to tack it on to all my other days because I have so much volume to do.
Yep.
I see it as almost being defeated,
Yeah.
right? I
I feel the
defeated.
same way because, like, you didn't get your work done. that
Exactly.
day. And then you're like, well.
I'm supposed to progress on this.
Right. And
Next
then-
week it's supposed to be another 2 kilos.
And then
What
I
the
feel
fuck?
like, yes, exactly. Then you're like, well, now everything's going to be behind.
Right.
You know, I might as well stop lifting because,
Fuck it.
I'm done training.
I'm
this
done.
Sucks. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I feel you. And then at that point, you got to just be like, okay, I'm overthinking this. I'm putting too much into it.
That comes from the addiction side.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Missing one training day isn't the end of the world.
No.
You know.
And again, so maybe you miss that one training day and you come in the next day and let's say it's supposed to be a technique day.
Mhm.
You just put, because you should come back more recovered, you should put 10 times the mental focus into it.
Oh, yeah.
And that day should be flawless.
Mhm.
Your technique, let's say you're benching, this bar speed should be better than it would have been had you worked out the day
Yep.
before.
So let me
Come
ask
back
you
in.
this.
Yeah.
So if you were to miss a training day,
Uh-huh.
like you kind of touched on, do you just skip that day or do you try adjust your program so you can get that day in?
So in the last 3 years of working out, not full-time weightlifting, but pretty much, I've only missed 2 workouts.
Damn,
Okay.
son.
So,
Wow.
actually,
Toot your own horn a
right
little bit.
on Saturday, I'm going to a wedding,
Yeah.
and I got a sub for my class so that I can come into the gym. I'm going in way early so I can train. I'll actually be lifting through that class, and then
Yeah.
I'll leave. What's really cool is my athletes understand, because I always tell them it this way. I'm here Thanksgiving. I'm here Christmas Eve. I'm here New Year's Day. I'm here on 4th of July. Every holiday that you get off from work, I'm here.
Mhm.
So I take very few days off. And on the days I take off, let's say it's Thanksgiving. You come to the gym. Why? Because it's your day off and you can come to the gym. Your priority is the gym and then whatever else. Same goes for me. So this Saturday, while they're doing their class, they all understand my priority, I'm an athlete first,
Yep.
then I'm here to coach you.
Mhm.
If I can't be an athlete, I'm not here. I'm going
Right.
to pull my hair out, I'm gone.
Yep.
My bosses have yet to figure that out.
Yeah.
Number 1 is I'm an athlete. Number 2 is I'm using what I learn as an athlete to teach my athletes. So yeah, I've only missed 2. But
Okay.
on the 2 that I have missed, it's because I did some other volume. Spartan races.
Ugh.
Okay? But typically what I would tell an athlete is, let's say you do completely miss a day. So even if I'm on death's door, in my head, and it might be, so let's say I'm supposed to snatch 225 or whatever. It might only be 95 pounds, and I might be doing it slower or emphasizing certain things, but in my head, it's 225.
Yeah.
In my head, I never miss the gym, because I still got to work. Unless, I mean, I've
Right,
had...
because you're there anyway.
Exactly.
A lot of the time
I need
you're
to be
there
working.
anyways. Yeah.
Exactly. I have, anywhere between 5 and 10 appointments for that day.
Yeah.
Some of which are classes. So I might have 40 people counting on me that day.
Well, and also, that's a big chunk out of your paycheck if you don't.
Oh, it is, for sure. Yeah, I
Which is
don't-
always secondary.
Right.
But
I don't get paid time off. That's for sure.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
unfortunately, as a coach, I am more likely if I'm sick to push through it,
Yeah.
unless I'm deathly sick. But yeah, I'm a terrible example because I always tell people there's no excuse to not do something. I mean, there's been days where I don't go to the gym. Let's say
Yeah.
it's a snow day. And I'll do yoga, maybe with a broomstick, but I'm still doing the 225 snatch in my
Right,
head.
right.
And the next morning I
You're
might wake
getting,
up.
you're getting that mental work.
Exactly. I
Yeah,
might
so-
wake up the next morning, my body is in so much pain because I found myself doing a 2-minute tempo snatch. Slow from the floor
Mm-hmm.
to the hip to the... It's going to make me a better lifter later.
You're a psycho, dude.
I am a psycho.
But that's also kind of what we touched on last time too. Is like focus on what you can do, not what
Yeah.
you can't do.
100%.
Yeah.
Exactly. And actually, I just posted a video this morning about how when you get injured, doing nothing is the worst thing to do. Focus on what you can do, not what
Yeah.
you can't. So again, if you are sick, don't be a wuss about it. But if you're truly sick, take your volume down. Maybe you only work out twice this week.
Right.
Right. Working out 2 times a week will maintain your strength.
Right. You're not going to get weaker in 2
No.
weeks.
Exactly. You have to be gone for its 15 or 16 days of doing almost nothing.
Right.
Before
So
you're
if you come in and get anything done, you're doing better. I mean, you're not going to lose anything.
Yeah.
That's what I tell people. It's like, well, I'm going on vacation for the week, and
Right.
I don't really know if I'm going to have access to a gym. It's like,
Bitch.
go on vacation. Enjoy
Right.
your vacation. You're not going to get
No.
weaker. You're
Right.
not going to lose any muscle.
When's the last time you took a day off? Go home.
Yeah,
you know? Get
exactly.
outta here.
Yeah, you got to just sometimes you just need a mental break.
Yeah.
So if work has been stressful, I mean, family stuff, whatever it may be, sometimes you got to prioritize and just be like, well, like I said, I might just benefit more
Right.
from a day off
For sure.
than from going to the gym and having a crappy workout.
Right. So guys, suck it up. That way, suck it up and don't be a wuss. That way, when it is time to take a day off, you've earned it.
Yeah.
Right? So if you are going on a 10-day vacation, earn it. Spend the 3 months leading up to that doing what you need to do.
But
okay?
also, if you can afford to, find some time to do something.
Yeah.
Do
Why
some
can't you
air
do body weight squats? Yeah. Do some
push-ups.
push-ups.
Yeah.
Come on. I mean, prisoners get good workouts,
Hell yeah.
okay?
And they're jacked.
Exactly. So you can do shit in your hotel room.
Yeah.
Don't be a wuss.
Even just wake up and just do 50 squats and 20 push-ups. Like
Yeah.
even if you just do that, I mean, like,
Drop down and give me 20, bitch.
there
You know?
go.
This is the Coaches Collab. We'll see you guys next week.